Konnichiwa, everyone. It's your boy, Matt Diazable, coming at you with some new music reviews. And today I am reviewing the debut album of a new hardcore slash metalcore band out from Japan called Indication with their album, I think it's Atrix of the Phoenix. I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, Indication is a metalcore slash hardcore band out from Tokyo, Japan. And the band got started because the lead singer, who was the lead singer of one of the biggest metalcore bands in Japan, Crystal Lake, and one of the biggest figureheads in Japanese hardcore, Koba, from Loyal to the Grave, and he runs Blood X Fest, were just kind of having a conversation one day. And I think that he was just like, the lead vocalist was just like, I haven't been in a band in a long time. And I think it's just like two friends were coming together and like, hey, let's just make some music and have some fun. And that's how Indication was birthed. Like a phoenix rising out of the ashes, it's really cool that this band Indication is bringing back that old school early 2000s metalcore style of music, which is really popular right now. And I think it's even cooler that most of the members in this band, they were in other bands in Japan called like Crystal Lake, Birthplace, Statecraft, and they were all part of that early 2000s hardcore scene, I think. And so it's like weird that they're like, it's part nostalgia, but also like these guys have already done this kind of music before, and like everyone wants that music again. So they're like, hey, let's just come back together, make some good music together as friends. And I think what you get here is some really decent metalcore from that early 2000s vibe that just sounds really good. From the really shredded guitar riffs to the very emotionally driven vocals, you're really getting a healthy dosage of nostalgia with this band. And I think a great example of hearing that is on not the opening track, but the second track, Strengthen Your Will. Because you really get that feel of like early 2000s metalcore, especially through the vocalist's vocals and everything. So I want to play a clip of that song for you.
Listen to your soul for what you should do. Use the food to trust. Strengthen your will. Strengthen your will. I like the window.
His vocals just sound really good. Like he's going all in, and it's nice. I want to say like the biggest like star on this album, or like the one thing that sounds really noticeable, are the guitars with how shreddy, how bouncy, and how groovy they sound. They really inject life into this music and really make you feel like, oh, like I'm really getting a dose of that nostalgic metalcore style from the early 2000s. And I think a good example of that is on the song Dusk Falling. So I'm gonna play a clip of that so you can get a sense of that groove they got here. Weirdly, in a weird way, it kind of reminds me of Norma Jean a bit, just a little bit. Maybe the vocals, I don't know, but I'm getting a bit of Norma Jean-ness from it. Even though the guitar sounds really great, I will say at times I think they fall into like some of the worst parts of the early 2000s metalcore sound, and that's like some repetitive guitar playing that kind of comes off a bit bland, because they can sound really shreddy, but a bit redundant, I think, at times. But overall, there's still really good riffs to listen to on this album. The drumming on this album is pretty simple and nothing too flashy. I feel like the drummer is just doing his job by keeping time and staying like locked in, because he sounds really good, but he's not doing anything too flashy. But I will say at times, not because of the drumming, but I think because of the mixing and mastering, the drums do seem to get like drowned out a bit, I think. The bass playing on this album is also really, really good and has a very thick and prominent sound. But just like the drums, at times, I won't say from like the mixing and mastering and layering of from the production side, I will say that the drums, the guitars, and the vocals get so like loud, they kind of overpower the bass at times, so it does get drowned out. But when it doesn't get drowned out, it sounds really, really good and has a really thick feel to it. and the bass player is just going at it, and it sounds really, really nice. And going back to the vocals on this album, like I said before, he has really good emotionally driven style vocals, and I think maybe this is more because he hasn't been in the band for a long time, and maybe his technique is not the best as it used to be, getting older, not being in it so long. His screams, they have that emotion, but sometimes I think he can scream a little bit too hard, and so it can come off really bad and kind of screechy, but it doesn't really distract that much. It only happens here and there. Overall, the main vocalist vocals are pretty solid for this type of music that's being made. And then we got the guest vocals here, and they all add something to the songs and really help elevate the songs. And at times, I wouldn't say save the song from the main vocalist, but like it really helps inject some new life into the songs to where like right when you feel like things are a little feel a little stale, the guest vocals comes in. It's like, oh, they fit in really good with this style of music, especially on the song Renaissance. Jay really, really helps like the song just go from being okay to being really good with his like high-pitched vocals. That Mind Force style works really well on this album. So I want to play a clip of Renaissance for you.
But you never fall. But you never fall. Go where the roads and drag yourself away. People come and go. Leave on the faces.
It's a good complimenting with the main vocalist and Jay on that song, I think. Now, there is nothing on this album that was like a big issue. I think the only problems here were like small minor issues that added up over time, but still nothing too bad. Just, you know, some vocal issues, some producing and mixing and mastering issues, I thought, and some, at times, some bland playing, but still, it's a very fun record to listen to, and all the guest vocals really help make this album sound fun. And if you're a fan of all the different bands involved with this band, I think you will enjoy this album because of those people who are in it, because they're injecting stuff from their own bands and then mixing everything here together to create like a nice little super group. And it's a good listen. So the debut album from Indication, I think, is a good and solid 8 out of 10. Yeah. If you're looking to find out some more Japanese hardcore bands, check this album out. Links down below. If you have any recommendations for me, let me know. Tap in and like, subscribe, and comment, guys. And I really appreciate it. And until next time, guys, see you in the pit. Sayonara. Yeah.